Oh, okay.
Hi, Ashley.
I'm Liz. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming in and talking today.
Thanks.
Can you tell me, would you mind talking about where you're from and what your family's like and how you got to Western?
Sure. Um, so I'm from Kalamazoo. I'm born and raised in Kalamazoo. Um, my parents were, are together, were together when I was born.
Mhm.
Um, so I grew up in Kalamazoo till I was about 8 or 9, and then my mom got a better job in Portage, which is kind of more of like a middle class,
Mhm.
overall middle class town outside of Kalamazoo. Um, when I grew up, it was more we were a little bit under middle class, but there was a lot of diversity there. And then we moved to Portage, which is fairly all middle class white people. Um, so then I graduated from Portage. I didn't really do. That's a whole nother story. Um, I didn't really do well in high school, and then my senior year of high school, I decided that I wanted to stop being selfish and slacking off and getting into trouble. So I wanted to go to university, but I was told I couldn't because I wasn't smart enough or I had slacked off before.
Who told you that you couldn't?
Like my counselors, advisors, I guess, of the high school.
Okay.
So I told them that's fuck you, and I'm going to do well, and you watch me. So my senior year, I dual enrolled at community college, and my whole senior year was at college. I did really well there. I graduated from high school, and I continued on to community college. Did really well. Finally decided what my major was going to be, and that's when I transferred to Western, and I got a few scholarships, and now I'm here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great success story.
Yeah.
Especially, I like when you said, like, screw you, the counselors.
Oh, yeah,
You're telling
definitely.
me if someone's going to tell you that you can't do it, I mean, you just totally turned it around and then, so watch me do it.
Yeah.
I love hearing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, do you like have you liked being in Kalamazoo in Michigan your entire life, or?
Yeah, I love Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo is my home. Portage is a place where I had my adolescent troublesome area. I think where my love for social work came was that transition from Kalamazoo to Portage, just because I grew up in a really diverse area where race, gender, sexual orientation, all of those things nothing was an issue. Everything was so diverse. And then when I moved to Portage, it was kind of that middle class mentality and white privilege. And while I'm white and I have privilege myself, I grew up where none of that mattered. Everyone was treated equally, and I saw the differences immediately.
Yeah.
And I think it took me, so I grew up, kind of sticking up for people, but I didn't know I wanted to do social work until somebody said, "This is what social workers do," and I was like, "That's what I do already." Yeah. So.
That's great.
Yes, Kalamazoo, love it.
I was wondering if part of you had ever wanted to leave Kalamazoo, but you said you totally love it here.
I did. Right before I transferred from community college to Western, I moved to California, and I had actually stopped my whole life, and I was planning on moving there for about a year and a half, with my brother. His wife's in the Navy. She was going to be deployed, so I was going to live with him while she was deployed and just kind of have fun before I transferred. Kind of a typical, if you will, military woman situation. She got herself pregnant on purpose so she wouldn't deploy. But because I did already I quit my job, I quit school, I still went out there and I lived with them for about 5 months.
What was that like?
San Diego it was okay. It was kind of weird because I was living with my brother and his wife. And it was weird. I didn't really like her. I hated her, in fact. It wasn't until she had the babies that I was like, okay, I like you. But
are those your nieces that I just?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah. But it was different. But I would do it all over again. I love my brother's life has changed a lot because he's married and now he has kids and I don't get to see him. So just having that few extra months before his life changed was really cool to spend with him because I'm really close with my family. Yeah.
What was it about your brother's wife? Did you know her well before you moved there, or was that like your first interactions with her?
He and her have been dating since they were in high school. They've been dating forever.
Wow.
And she was not somebody that I could see him being with long term. He's more of an emotional person. He's like my parents. He's just, they love people. And she kind of treated him not what I would expect a wife or girlfriend to do. So that was already kind of a stigma I put on her. And then she cheated on him a few times. And then I was like, screw you.
Yeah.
But, so they broke up a little while, but then they got back together, and then she kind of swindled him into getting married because she's in the military. And I just really hated her. I just was like, how, you're ruining my brother's life because it's an ideal that you want, wife, family, kids, that she didn't grow up with. And I just felt like, it wasn't fair to him. But he's doing okay now.
Good.
So,
I would be totally the same way if my brother, he was dating someone and I had that impression. I would be exactly the same way.
Yeah. I used to gang up on her and, give it to her, but, I respect her because she's the mother of my babies. They're mine. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
They're so cute.
Yeah, they're twins.
Oh.
Twin girls. They're really cute.
So has the birth of the twin girls, has that changed, like, their dynamic in the way that, like, did she interact with you, like, in a negative way? Like,
Never.
She didn't like you either?
No, because she knew she couldn't. She had no backbone to do that. So she tries, and I do appreciate that. But she's just not a person I would be friends. Like, I would just never be friends with her. She's kind of immature. She thinks she's funny. She's not funny. She thinks she's cute and clever. She's not. And it's kind of hard. It's, like, really hard to interact with her. But she tries. So, I'll chuckle at the stupid shit she says that doesn't make any sense, and we'll call it good.
How, if you don't mind me asking, how old are they?
Nate just turned 27, and she's 26.
Oh, okay, because I would just think, like, maybe they were a younger couple because you said she was really immature, but...
No, she's just a bitch.
That's awful.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And it's so lousy, like, having to see your brother, like, when she is nasty to him or not supportive or whatever, like, have to watch him be with someone that treats him like that.
But I mean, he's an adult. There's nothing I can try to be a protective sister. I'm a younger sister, but, I mean, it's his life, and he has kids now, and he's just going to have to figure that out on his own now, because he's made those choices, so, good.
So, do you think, you said her not growing up, like, she didn't have that, like, picturesque family?
Right.
Do you think because she didn't have that growing up, that's why she was, like, forcing it onto your brother and, like, projecting that onto him, and this is what she wants, and she's getting it because she didn't have it?
I think, exactly. I think that, and she sees, like, how our family dynamics are, and we're all really close. My parents have a really good relationship, and she just wanted that and she has it now. She wanted it so badly, so she would do whatever she could, manipulate him, lie, cheat, all of those things, to get him to stay. And we all knew that, but, it's sad. I mean, but you can't choose the way you grow up, and you can't force something like that on somebody else. I mean...
That's a really good perspective on it.
Yeah.
That's a really mature way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really like her family as much as I don't like her. But again, it's just kind of, I have to do it because now there's babies involved, and I love them so much, and I would do anything for them. So I do. I tolerate her, and I tolerate her stupid family as well.
Yeah. Children, I mean, once children are in it, totally changes everything.
Yeah.
About everything in it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, did your views on her, did that ever affect your relationship with your brother? Because it sounds like you two were close and, protective of one another and concerned about the other one's well-being.
Yeah.
So was there ever, like, fights or arguments between you two due to her?
Never. Him and I never fight. But he would, I can recall a time when he was moving out to San Diego, and I was moving him in like a moving truck, and we were in the small moving truck. We were pulling his Trans Am, which, his fancy sports car that he loves more than anything. And our GPS got us lost, and we were in the mountains with this truck and this fancy car, and we were really stressed out. It's curving. There's no barrier between your death and the road.
It's scary.
Yeah. And so we just got off of the mountain area, and we're like on a flat area, and Elise calls, and she said, "Why is it taking you guys so long to get here? My mother and I did this trip without sleeping in 2 days, and we were on our 3rd day or whatever, because we like to sleep." And so she was just kind of nagging him. And, I was already really stressed out about the mountains, and, he's stressed out, and I was just like, "Oh, Nate, it's okay." So I grabbed the phone, and I just bitched at her, and I was like, "Listen here, lady, you can't, you're not a wife right now, act like a wife." I was being kind of immature myself, but when I got off the phone, Nate was definitely pissed at me. He's like, "You can't talk to my wife like that," and I was like, "Hey, I'm your younger sister, I can look out for you." He's like, "It's not like that anymore, she's my wife,
Yeah.
I gotta stand behind her." So that was kind of like a moment for me when I was like, our relationship is something different now. Yeah.
So has that caused you like any like inner turmoil? Like your relationship with your brother has changed, and now he has to stand next to her because that's his wife and that's the mother of his children. And
Yeah. I don't think so. Just because, he lives there. He's been gone for about a year now, so it's kind of given me time to realize that, we still talk as much as we can, but I know our relationship is going to change, but it doesn't really, bother me, because I know we're close. We won't be as close, because he has his own family, but I know he'll always stand behind me, and I'll always stand behind him.
Yeah, that core doesn't change.
Definitely, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do they come out here? Like, is she open to coming out here and, seeing you, or is it you go, or does she not want any part of it?
Yeah, she's really cool about that. They did come back to Michigan a few months ago with the babies for the first time, so that was really excitement. Everyone was like, "No, stay at our house, stay at our house. We want to see the babies." But she was really, really great about equaling her family and our family with the babies. And it's good that there's 2 of them, so while I'm holding one, someone on her family can hold the other one. So it was good. Yeah.
I think it would be a much more difficult situation if, because now they're married and they have children. She was like, "We're not going to Michigan. We've got babies here. We're not going. I don't want to go travel. I don't want to go see your family."
Yeah.
It's a good thing that she's trying to put you guys on this.
It's good that you mentioned that, because while I don't like her, she is good about things like that. She's kind about the families and making sure we all get to see Nate and, still get to spend time with him.
And again, I think that's a mature thing for you to recognize and for her to do.
Mm-hmm.
That, there's things that you definitely don't like about her and that you could, sometimes you could probably do without her most of the time.
Yeah.
But you recognize that she is trying hard and she's being a good mom and hopefully a good wife all the time.
Yeah. I can only hope.
Yeah. But I think
we're good. I think so too.
I don't really know how to end it because it was such a good,
we're done.
Deep, good conversation.
Yeah.
So sorry for being abrupt about it.
It's okay. I was very abrupt about it too. Did it still record even though it was?
Yeah, we're at 14.